Frank, I'm waiting for you to get rid of that atrocity.
All right, I got you.
Alrighty. So
Can you show us how you use the boilerplate again?
yeah, so let me go back to the section.
Also,
So
how
for
to
me,
get the server running so we can run it on Chrome.
I got you. So I have a extension called Emmet as well, and it allows me to just do the exclamation point and then click enter and boom, boilerplate. And then for the live server, just go into your file explorer, right click, and then open with live server. And then you can, it's just gonna open up a Chrome tab. And then you can just console.log and then you can see everything in there.
Thank you.
All right. Cool. Thank you guys for enduring that. But another thing about vars is you cannot redeclare them. So the var counter and this var counter, once I do this, it's gonna be another error that you're gonna see. Same. No, actually, no. With vars you can do that, but with let you're not able to do that. So let's say if I do let counter equals 10, and then let counter again, it's gonna give me an error in console.log. So basically, the main difference between them is just the scope and this also as well, the redeclaration of it. So another thing that was added in ES6 is the const variable. It's just another way of doing var basically, or let. But the thing is, with these, you cannot, they're immutable basically. So let's go ahead and do some code here. Person.
Which Emmet do you have?
Let me find it for you. Should be here somewhere. Honestly, I'm not sure where the exclamation point thing came from because I don't have Emmet installed. But you can download the boilerplate one, the one that I showed before, and that'll give you the boilerplate. Where is it? HTML boilerplate.
I think Emmet might already be on there because I don't remember installing it, but I typed the exclamation point and it showed
And it
up.
worked? Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, it already works. It's part of the boilerplate, I see.
All right, lit. So yeah, that's pretty nice. Never want to type that up. All right, so the age 30. And then I'm going to try console.logging. All right. So now let's look at the console log. Let's see what we got. So yeah, there's an error for the counter because we initialized it 2 times. Let me actually get rid of that because it's not going to let us do any of the rest of our code. Also, let me get rid of that. Let me just get rid of all of the code I typed. All right, so we see 30 was logged. And the reason 30 was logged is because we changed it from 20 to 30 and then we logged it. But it's not, we didn't change the actual value of it. What we changed was the reference. So we changed age to reference to 30. We didn't change age to actually equal 20. So if we try to do age equals, if we just did person age equals 20, it would have given us an error. But since we changed the reference of it, that's the only way you can change the value for consts, because they're immutable. So let's go back to the code. So what I did was I changed the reference of it to be 30, but I didn't actually change. If I try to do age, or if I try here to just do rate equals 0.2, that's going to give you an error. So that's const. And then another thing that was introduced in ES6 is the spread operator. So the spread operator allows you to nicely put a bunch of values in at once, basically. So let me just write this array. Some more numbers. And actually, let me do 2 4. And we're going to put the odd here. And we're going to see what this does. Let's just change this to sense. All right. So what we did here basically was we have our odd numbers, and we have all the numbers here. So 2 4 6, and basically what the dot operators does, it adds this array here into the array at the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and see that in the console log. We see here the whole combined array was logged. So those 3 dots there basically just let you add more than one value at the same time. So let's go back to code. 135 got put into the odd 3 dots. So it just spreads the values for any array or map or list or anything into the into wherever you put it, whether it be a function or an array or whatever. So another cool thing you can do with them is, let's say we have this. We're going to put numbers and more numbers. And I'm going to console.log. And what we're going to see, actually, I'm going to call it console.all numbers. And it basically does the same exact thing. It just puts the 1, 2, 3, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's a spread operator. It's kind of nice. Usually use it for like spreading out a bunch of objects or a bunch of parameters for a function or anything like that. So another thing that's added in the ES6 are the ES6 modules. So let me go ahead and create a new file here. Remove these controls. So I'm going to create a new .js here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to import this file into this file here. So we're going to export. The export keyword allows you to export pretty much anything, whether it be a function or a value, anything like that, into another JS JavaScript file. So we're going to create a function real quick to return message. So then here, what we're going to do is we're going to import message and get message. And we're going to import it from our message file, message.js. And then now what we can do is we can actually call get message. So we're going to console that actually. And what it's going to do is it's going to, let's console.log message too. So we're going to switch over to the console log, and we're going to see that the messages got switched over into the console. So we have Es6 modules, we see that. So there's the message, and then there's a function that we called over as well. So you're going to be using a lot of modules as well in JavaScript and React, because pretty much every component is a function that you're going to want to export it from another file to this file. And you're going to be doing a lot of exporting and everything like that. Let me also show you one more way to do an export. So we're just going to call this foo.js. And you can actually, you don't have to export it every time from the actual function. You can just do it. You can create all your code and then you can export it at the end of the file. So let's do log. Then we're going to do export default instead. And then in the script file, we're going to go ahead and just import it. So when you do export default, what you can actually do is you can, since you made it default, you can actually just name it whatever you want. But you just still gotta make sure that you import it from the right place. Yes. So I can name it food if I wanted, but let's go and save that. And we're gonna go ahead and call food.
Are you doing that in a different window? Because I can't see what you're typing.
You guys can see what I'm typing?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
No.
No.
Okay, now do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what I just did was I created a foo file, named it, put in the function here, and then I went back into script.js, went ahead and imported it. You can name it whatever you want. Let's just name it foo for now. Just show you guys. But since you did a default, you can actually just name it whatever you want. You don't have to put the brackets. You don't have to put any of that. You can actually just name it whatever you want. And let's go to the console log and we'll see what is there. What we're just going to see is just foo. There we go. So I'm going to go back to VS Code. All right. So another thing that is added in, and I think the best thing that was added in ES6 are the arrow functions. And I remember the first time I saw an arrow function, I'm like, yo, what the hell is this? But it's actually really not that complicated. I mean, regular functions, you're going to do let add function, we got our values in there, and we're going to return x plus y. But when we do arrow functions, kind of get rid of that syntax there and make it a little bit more simple. So what we can do instead is do let add 1 equals, and then instead of going to do the parentheses here, we're going to do an arrow, hence the name of the arrow function. We can actually just do x plus y, and that's going to, these two functions are exactly the same. This is going to return x plus y, and this is going to return x plus y. Actually, I'll put the x and y in here. So it's going to return x plus y, and it's going to return x plus y. You can either do it like this, or you can add a block in there if you want to. Do need a return statement here. and return x plus y. And that's pretty much the syntax of the arrow functions. If you want, you can either do them one line, but if you end up doing anything more than just the declaration there, you need to do the return statement and you need the block in there as well. So there's that. The main difference really between a regular function and an arrow function is when you use the this keyword, the this keyword in the arrow function is going to still refer to the outer scope, but just like with the let and var, the actual function creates its new scope when it's inside here. So a completely new scope is created when you create a function, but when you create an arrow, it's still going to refer to the outer scope, which is the global scope or whatever the function that it belongs to. So once we start to get into React and mess around with that, we're able to see that in action. But I believe that's it for the ES6 for now. Let me go ahead and share over here. All right, so now that we're done with these, I'm gonna go ahead and delete all these files here. We don't need them anymore because we're gonna start our first React app now. So we'll just open up a new terminal here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the command. Well, first we need to make sure we have Node installed. So if you guys have Node installed, just go ahead and do Node version. It's gonna show you the version that you have installed. That's all you need to install React. So this is the command that you're gonna do to create your first React app. So we're just gonna go ahead and do npx create my React app, and then go ahead and create it. And now it's gonna start to install the dependencies and the npm modules and all that good stuff. So while that's doing, let me see if there's any questions in the chat or anything like that. Cool. So did everything from the ES6 modules make sense? I was a little bit weird going back and forth with the console log, but that's all you guys really need to know. And I'm gonna put some more articles in the chat where you can see all the stuff that's in ES6 and everything like that.
So is ES6 like the latest version of JavaScript? Like, is there like an ES5 or ES4, or what does ES6 stand for?
Yeah, it's just before ES6 there's ES3, 4, and 5, but ES6 is just the most recent one right now.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, like Python 3 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Gotcha.
So yeah, this is taking a little bit longer than I thought it would. My computer's like overheating. Yeah, basically it's just creating the new React app right now. If someone can answer this, what this type of array does, think about dots. So that's a spread operator. So yeah, there's ES10, but ES6 is
So
really.
what did you, sorry.
Go ahead.
What did you have to type in when you went to the terminal in order to get it to start creating a React app?
So it's
Or
npm.
was it supposed to do it automatically? npx create.
So make sure you're in the folder that you want to create the React app in, and you go ahead and type in npx create. Well, I'll put it in the Discord, so you can just copy and paste it. So. You go to copy that in there, and then just click enter. It's going to go ahead and install all the dependencies and all the different things you guys are going to need there. So go ahead and start installing that, and it'll just be installing in the background for you guys.
Do we do this every time when we start a new React project?
Yeah. So every time there's ways. I mean, all React is just an index.html file and a JavaScript file, and you just import the React dependencies and everything like that. But you could do it without doing start React, but it's just a lot tougher. So I mean, if you're wanting to do the simpler way, just go ahead and do create React app, and it's just gonna create it from scratch, create all the dependencies you need, and all the different file structure that you're gonna need to finish off the app.
Okay.
So yeah. Gosh, it's taking forever. Is it taking long for you guys too, or is it just my laptop is just?
Mine do be taking a minute though.
Create React app usually takes.
Yeah, it's create React app is faster, but the npx just already like it has the most
Preloads a
recent,
lot of dependencies.
yeah, exactly. It has the most recent version of React. So that's why Facebook recommends that version instead. Ricardo with the gaming desktop. So yeah, pull up some stuff over here.
Undressed by creation. You mean like your setup?
Yeah, like if your setup is set up to do more processing rather than distributing the memory to like a graphics card or something like that, does that make this process faster, or does that not apply?
That's a hardware question.
Possibly. I mean, for me, it didn't take too long. Although I have like a new Mac, so maybe.
Yeah, I think better CPU does make it go faster because mine went pretty quick. I started it after you, and it ended.
Oh yeah,
like a couple
I'm
minutes
already
ago.
done with it. But no, I was asking because like for the future when compiling larger data sets and stuff, it's going to be, a concern.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So definitely, your computer does. When downloading stuff, it might matter.
Yeah, definitely for CPU, definitely gotta move around certain things and everything like that. I think it's because I'm running Zoom right now and VS Code, and I have like a bunch of Chrome tabs open as well.
Bro, how's your computer not on fire? I'm amazed.
Guys, I have a lecture for the next 3 hours, so I'm gonna have to leave.
Oh,
3 hours.
Thanks for coming, Hamza.
Thanks for coming.
No problem. Yeah, it's a 3 hour. So for some reason, they put all my calculus lectures today.
Oh, that's mean. That's
whoa, gross calculus. All right.
Don't worry, man.
I'll join you next week,
I barely
though.
passed Calc 2. That was tough.
Yeah. Pain.
See ya.
See you, bro.
Alrighty. Well, what was the highest calculus you guys had to take? Calc 2, right? And nobody here is engineering, I don't think.
I took Calc 3.
Calc 2?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wait. For computer engineering, what's the highest you guys have to take?
We have a lot of self-proclaimed engineers.
What do you mean, bro?
We have a.
I'm an actual engineer, though.
We have a shoot. We have a self-proclaimed math major in here, bro.
I am actually a math major.
Yeah, man.
Wait.
Actually,
Hey, didn't you not know about a 45-45?
Yeah, the 3-4-5 triangle, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not a geometry major. I'm a math major.
The Pythagorean theorem.
Hold on a second, though. But that's trigonometry, though.
That doesn't count. Geometry's fake math.
Oh wait,
Oh,
trig is
what?
geometry.
What do you mean?
I was like, Azar, look at that triangle. I was like, what?
It was. I thought it was like 3, 4, 6 triangle. I don't know. It was looking a little different. I ain't done geometry in a minute, bro.
Oh my gosh.
What's the dog's name?
Anything where you have to prove and stuff like that, but like that triangle, not me, bro. Geometry is just not my thing. Calculus was my thing. Stuff like that was not my thing.
Yeah, it's definitely the reverse for me. I definitely killed it in geometry. I can't talk about everything else.
Geometry is boring.
Sokoto, guys. Sokoto.
Sorry, we're not. I'm not as genetically advanced.
Oh.
Oh, it did it. Looks like it finished.
Hey.
Or did it? Or did it?
Or
I don't know where that is from. I guess
Definitely
that's
got
from-
errors.
what? Did you make some like accidental infinite loop or something?
Looks like a closing parenthesis is
Oh,
missing.
this Erica's well. That's weird. Anyways, I don't think that it's gonna affect this. Make sure I'm in the right directory. All right, so then just cd into your app. All right, cool. So when you do the create React app, it's going to generate this template for you basically. And you're going to have all these different folders here. The node modules are going to be all the different dependencies. The public folder is going to be the general public stuff. You have the index.html, all the logos and everything like that. In the index.html, this little div ID right here is where we're going to inject our entire React app. And that's where we have the ID root there. That's where we're going to inject our entire React app in. We have in our source, we have the CSS for the app and the index for this .css. We have our index.js, which is this is going to be rendering our app right here. But what we're going to do instead, we're going to go ahead and just delete all this stuff here and only keep our index.js, just so we can keep it simple for now.
So was typing in that command supposed to automatically create the file?
Yeah. So you should have got this template here, and it should create all this.
And if you didn't,
public folder,
then what does that mean?
You didn't get this template right here when you opened up that command?
No.
You don't see mine.
That's weird. Are you in the right folder?
Yeah, I would guess so.
Also, make sure that you accept all of the terms and agreements and everything like that. I thought I had finished, but then I saw that I had to accept some things, so I did that, and then I got my app on the left hand side.
I'll check that out.
That's actually never happened to me. I would make sure your VS Code is in the right.
You should refresh the directory in VS Code.
Yeah, I would click out. I would just open up a new window and open up the same directory again and see what happens there.
And then delete everything in the source except for index, right?
Yeah, that's what I do. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete them. I deleted everything but I deleted everything but whatever. Index. All right. So, give me a second. All right, so your first line of React code, well, not React code, but the first line that you need in order to generate any type of React anything is you need to import the React dependency. So I'm just going to import it from React from React. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to create our first component. So we're going to do a greeting component. And this is just JavaScript. This is just a regular component. I mean, a regular JavaScript function. And what we're going to return is what looks like HTML, but is not really HTML. It's called Es6. So this is our first component. And if JSX follows HTML like conventions and tags and everything like that, but all JSX is just really just another extension, syntax extension of JavaScript, JSX. So now that we have our first component here, our first function, the next thing that we need to do is we need to import the render function. So we're going to import the render function from React DOM. Make sure we have that in there. And then the most important line is actually invoking the render function. So we're going to go React DOM render, and we're going to render the greeting component that we just created. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to document.get element by ID, and we're going to put it in a root. So what we did there is we did some DOM manipulation, basically. We just rendered our greeting function inside of the root div that's over here in index.html. So our entire React app, no matter how big it is, it could be Twitter, it could be whatever, it's always going to go inside of the root div or whatever div you determine it to be. But it's always going to go into the HTML div. So now that we have that situated, let's go ahead and start our server, our localhost. In order to start your localhost, all you need to do is type in npm start.
Can you scroll a little right so I can see the end of that?
Yeah. npm start, and that's how you start your localhost server. So that's starting up. And what is this? So yeah, every time you want to see your changes or anything that you're making in the code, real time, all you have to do is go ahead and click the npm start button. So now let's go ahead and look at what we have here. And we have our first component. And that is React. It's just components. And if you see here, let's go into, if you installed the React Developer Tools, you can actually see the component here. If you go to components, you can see the greeting component that we just created. So let's go back to the code. So basically what we just created was a stateless functional component. We'll get into state in the next meeting probably, but nothing's really happening here. All it does is this function just returns JSX. And JSX are just it's not HTML, it's not a string, whatever. It's just another JavaScript syntax extension. They follow HTML tags and everything like that, but it is not HTML. So when you're returning JSX, you want to make sure that you have these parentheses as well. And every time you return something instead of a component or a function, you want to make sure you're returning one element. So let's say I try to do 2. This is my second header. I'm not going to be able to do that because the JSX always needs to be enclosed inside of a div or some type of enclosing tag. So now we get no error now. And it could be, you could either do a div, you could do an article, you could do a section, and you can also do a React fragment, which is not it's not like a HTML tag or anything like that. It's just something built into React that you can use to enclose your JSX. So remember, every time you are returning JSX, it has to be one element. So if I try to do another div here, it's going to give me another error. So, but inside this div, I can do whatever I want. I can do another div here. Div inside this one if I wanted to. And it's all going to render because it's all under, they're all children of the parent component here. So let's get rid of these extra. Save here. All right, so one other thing about JSX is all the attributes, they follow camel case and also use class name instead of class for the classes to do all the styling and everything like that. So make sure that the attributes are camel case and use class name instead of class. Another important thing about components is you always need to capitalize the first letter every time. If this was G and this is G, it's not going to recognize it. It's not going to render it. So React recognizes that it's a functional component by the capital letter that's at the beginning. So now that we have our first component, let's start doing some nesting of components. So let's say I wanted to also put my name in here. Let's do an arrow function just so we can show that we can use that. Let's do my name and the greeting. So now we have 2 other components that we're using. I'm going to change this to, let's change this to, change the first component, down here, the first component. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the components that we just created in the greeting inside of here. So basically what we did is we nested 2 components inside of another component. And let's go see what that looks like in the dev server. So we have the name and we have the greeting as well. And this is all one component that we can see here. We have the first component, and then we have the 2 nested components that are at the bottom, name and greeting, the ones that we created. That's really the beauty of React, is that you can nest components instead of a parent component. So let's do something kind of cool. Let me switch back to the code. Let's get rid of all this here. And let's create, we're going to create a book list of a book list of books, basically. So our parent component is going to be book list, and we're going to have a book component. And we're also going to have book has an image, a title, and an author. So we're going to go ahead and create an image component. It's just going to return an image. And we're going to create an author. And it's just going to return, we'll make it return image1. We'll find the book that we're going to do. And then we're also going to do the title. Return a paragraph element, and we'll do the title as well. So we have, this is going to be the parent component. We have the book component, and we have the image component, and we have the author and the title. So I'm going to go really quickly and grab an image from online. Let's go find it. And this looks kind of interesting. So we'll just copy this image address here. And let's refresh to see what that looks like right now. Same thing. All right, let's go ahead and go back to the code. So all I did was I just copied the image URL of that book. So you can copy any image URL that you want. But let me go back to the code. And let's go ahead and put that in the source.
Could you slow down a little bit, by the way?
Slow down?
Yeah.
Sure.
You're spitting, bro. But it's fast.
So basically, all I did was I grabbed an image from online. You can grab an image from anywhere. But I just went to the Amazon best-selling books, copied the image URL, and I put the image URL inside of the image component inside of the source attribute. I need the book list down here actually first. All right, so now that we have that, let's go ahead and do the author. The author, we're just going to put John Doe for now. And the title, we'll name it Grumpy Monkey because that was the name of the title. And so now we're going to start making our book component. And what the book component is going to be comprised of is the image, the author, and the title. I want to make sure we do a return. And we also want to make sure that we encapsulate it in one element. There we go. So we have image, author, and title. The image is coming from here. The author is coming from here. And the title is coming from here. And so now that we have a book component that's comprised of the three different child components here, we're going to go ahead and return let's just do a div. And now we can return a bunch of books, basically. And so what we did basically is we have a book component that's comprised of the 3 different child components. And we also have a book list that lists out all the different books. And so then what that is going to look like in our localhost is a bunch of grumpy monkeys. And as you can see, if we change anything in the code, let's say if I just change the title to happy monkey, every component gets changed. So that's kind of the beauty of React. You can pretty much change one piece of code and it changes every component that you've built out as a child component. Also, let me show you how to import CSS, and then I think we'll call it a night. Let me create a CSS index.css. Let's put it to the top here. Import CSS /. So there's that. Let me go ahead and put some stuff in there. I'm just going to copy and paste some that I already have. So it's basically the same way that you would import anything else in JavaScript is how you would import the CSS. Make sure to put the .css at the end here. And let's go ahead and put the class names. So what class names do I have here?
Nate,
Book list and book.
I think you're sharing your other VS Code window.
Oh, that's what it is. All right, let's put that over here. All right.
All right, yeah.
There you go. All right, so the CSS that we just had here. We have our 2 classes, book list and book. Let's go ahead and put those in the class names. Let's go ahead and do book lists. And then we want to put the class name over here. So there's that. And then another way you can do CSS in React is also by just doing style. And then you're going to need to do, and you can actually just type in the attributes there. But you're going to have to put the attributes in quotation marks there. So that's what it's going to look like. And then also, let's just go see what we went ahead and rendered. So we got some CSS. We changed the author name, the author color to red. Just added some things in the background. So let's go back to the code. Yeah, you can import the CSS at the top, and you can also do the attributes in the style. And that's pretty much it. That's kind of the basics of nesting React components and everything like that. You guys have any questions or anything? I need some help. All right, Andres, if you want to stay afterwards, I can definitely walk you through that.
Yeah, I don't mind staying after.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for the first lecture here. You guys have any more questions or anything like that? Cool, cool. All right, so you guys are free to go, or y'all can chill here while me and Andres figure out what he's looking for. Thank you guys for bearing through my robotic mic and everything like that, and my screen sharing problems. But yeah, I appreciate you guys staying, and yeah, you guys are awesome. Looking forward to the rest of the meetings. Appreciate it, bro.
Do you mind if I share my screen and show you what's going on?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
You got to enable it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna enable it, right? Do I have to give you permission, or do you just request it?
I think you have to give me permission.
You should be able to do it now.
Okie doke. This is what's popping up for me.
Oh boy.
And when I go to my file system, this is the worst part.
Oh shit. Okay, that looks like that's more than a VS Code problem. Something might be wrong with your
it started right after that.
Where did you where did you install the package? Like, do you know what directory you're in?
No.
Okay, click out of VS Code and open a new window. And go ahead and open a folder. What open folder? All right. Yeah, you're in your administrator. Go back to like your yeah. Do you have like a document, like a folder where you create like you put all your code in and everything like that? Oh, there you go. There's my app. Go back. Go back one more time. Yeah. Go back to documents.
That's an administrator.
All right. So now just select, just click one time on my app and just click select folder. There you go. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
But so about the making the files, that's a whole different thing then.
Yeah, I'm not sure what. That's really weird. Are you the administrator on your?
Yeah.
Go back to that administrator directory that you're in.
I actually don't know how to get there.
Network. Go to your devices and drive. Yeah, open up that. Not network. The one right above it. Go to users. Administrator. Okay. Try creating a new folder now.
No, that looks like it's a personal problem. All right. Thank you, boss.
No problem, bro. I'm sorry. Sorry to see that, man. I've never seen that before. That's super weird.
Yeah, I don't know. That looks like it's a me problem, though. That has nothing to do with VS Code. Thank you, bro.
No problem,
Have a good one.
You too, bro. Martin, yes. We recorded the whole thing, so